Welcome back, everybody. It's Rudy with Alpha Investments. So, we're doing it. Sorry for the little bit of delay with all the crazy news that's been going on. I have 26 pages of about 400 questions. This is the 150,000 Q&A, and I don't know if the video is going to be an hour long, 4 hours long, 6 hours long, I'm not really sure. So we're going to go 45 minutes long, we're going to cut it off, and we're going to keep doing 45-minute videos, and you expect to see, I don't know how many we're going to do, but I consolidated most of the questions. I had about 1,100 questions, I consolidated them to about 300 to 400 questions. The reason for that is most of the questions were kind of the same. There's a lot of overlapping. You pretty much have questions on the community, the reserve list, how should I get started in Magic, what's going on, Wizards, other YouTube channels, and Reddit, Rudy scamming, what's true, what's not, and kind of the future direction of things, and then of just a bunch of little stuff, mixed in with a bunch of fun things that are non-Magic related. So, everybody relax, take your time. This is going to be a very long-form type video, and we're not really going to rush, and we're just going to take our time, and if you just want to get some quick videos and leave, this is not going to be the series for you. So we're jumping right into it. Let's just do this, everybody. So, first, actually, you know what? First, thank you to everybody for the 150,000 subscribers. Part of me always thought that if I did this type of YouTube channel, it would work. Another part of me always thought that, nah, they're really, I'm nothing special. I'm not a special snowflake. I'm not very unique, so I don't have the ability to make content that I think people would find very fascinating. But obviously, looking back now that it's been about just over 2 years, obviously the answer to that is not true because people seem to find what I do intriguing. Whether it's out of hate, love, fascination, or curiosity, people seem to find it intriguing. So these are all questions that you all asked. You better relax, put some food on, sort some cards. Here we go. Rudy, by the way, some of these are just unedited, uncomfortable. Starting off out of the gate, Rudy, you ever felt like you took advantage of a customer to benefit to your own economic reward? Overall, nothing really extreme. There's been accidents that have happened over the years. The most common accident that happens is when I buy collections or when people sell things. After it's all said and done, like a month later, I break it down out of the binder. I'll discover there's multiple cards shoved in the same spot in a notebook binder. Like they'll put 2 instead of 1. So that's the most common thing that we've messed up on over the years. But overall, there's not really a need to take advantage of people. And I tell this to a lot of people all the time because in the long run, the word of mouth, it's like people sending me collections. Everybody's been noticing how many collections that you really don't need to do anything exotic, crazy, or shady because it'll naturally take care of itself. Whether we're talking about Magic, the food business, restaurants, Wall Street, if you just take care of it and just do things the way they're supposed to be, in the long run, I always felt you'll just make more money. Yeah, it'll take a little bit longer, but I think long run it's worth it. Rudy, are you going to buy Hasbro? I am nowhere near rich enough. I do not have anywhere near that kind of money to buy hostile takeover, buy large amounts of shares to get any form of influence on the company, so no. Rudy, is Wizards going to switch to 100% digital Magic the Gathering eventually? Do you think they're going to abandon cardboard crack lifestyle? Okay, so we're going to start with that first question. I don't think they want to abandon cardboard paper cards. I do think they have discussed it in their fancy ivory towers, and it has been a real conversation on their forecasting and long term. I think Hasbro has had real conversations with Wizards about topics like that. Second part, Rudy, do you still keep the foils from your mass box openings? If yes, why did you ever do that? The reason, first of all, what actually happened was when I first started doing mass box openings, some of the first sets I did mass box openings on was M12, is when I really got heavy into doing over 500 box openings. I think M12 was like the first major run I did, followed by the Gate Crash RTR type sets. I actually ended up keeping the foils mostly because of time and logistics. When I was listing all the cards on eBay and we were sorting and running everything, I actually found we didn't want to put the time to try to do a whole bunch of separate listings for the foil cards because there was only be a couple of each one versus having 300 or 400 of each rare type of thing. So it was something that we never really got around to doing it, like on M12. So what happened was by the time we unlisted everything, we were running the operation. We're getting about 300 transactions a day on eBay. I just didn't get around to going back to listing the foil cards because I was so wrapped up in the regular cards. So because of that, what ended up happening is 3 or 4 more sets came out, and as time went by, I forgot to go back to list the M12 foils. And then I started to notice that while some of them that were hot in the moment cooled off, at the same time, just as many of them actually started spiking in price as the set rotated out. And there really wasn't much price difference, and actually, as time went on, the prices of the foils actually grew at a faster rate because of the multiplier versus the regular rares. So it was an accidental thing based around time. Moving forward, I do not still do that because I no longer do any mass box opening on newer products, especially in the era of Ixalons and Hour of Dev and Amonkhet's. I did consider going back to mass box openings with Dominaria and Core 19 because I actually thought the sets were well engineered. I thought they were good products. But I didn't go back to it mostly because of my time. I've restructured my life, personal life, and schedule mostly around the YouTube channel and replying to people and the collection buying and different aspects and setting tons of appointments for people at the card store and, of course, trying to do other things personally with like family life. So I never really went back to mass box openings. To this day, I do not engage in mass box openings anymore because based on the current time I have to put into it, based on the YouTube channel's growth and the money that YouTube pays and all that, it's no longer worth my personal time to go back to that business model. I may do it 1 or 2 times in the future because, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people really missed me filming videos about mass box opening. All right, moving forward. Rudy, what are your thoughts on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game? Because you talk about Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Force of Will, Buddy Fight, White Swords, but you don't talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't talk about it because I'm ill-informed. I don't have the knowledge of it. I'm not smart with Yu-Gi-Oh! If I don't understand it or I feel confident in the topic, I'm not going to just make it up and BS on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Topic. Because there's a lot of people out there that are a lot smarter than me in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Therefore, I don't want to just try to guess because I'll look dumb, even though probably people think I already look stupid anyways. But the point is, I don't have enough knowledge about it. I'm not a fan of the reprint policy and how they handle it. I'm just not, it doesn't click well with me. I have nothing personal against it. It's just nothing I never really got into, and as I've gotten older, there's no reason for me to add something because my plate's already pretty full. It really is just that simple. Where do you get all the cash, Rudy, to buy expensive, rare, valuable collections and random opportunities that come your way? Since you said storing all the alpha, beta, reserve list cards in your stash, you just sit on the cards and store them. You must be absorbing a lot of cards and costing you a lot of money. I don't understand how that's possible. This is very common. Okay, so this is very commonly asked by everybody. I'm in a very unique situation between the YouTube, the store, the restaurant, everything to be able to do something like this. And you have to remember, so to start off with, it started originally because in 2008, when everything crashed, I did have some extra cash in the moment. And then, of course, after 2008, when a lot of the bonds and the assets started to reinflate on Wall Street, a lot of the bonds I was invested in when the economy stabilized, they started calling the bonds early because the companies who made it were now in an environment where they could issue new bonds at almost 0% interest rates, like 2-3% interest rates. And because of that, they were buying out and calling their old bonds early, and I didn't want to reinvest in the new economic environment because the interest rates, instead of getting very high double-digit yields, went down to like 4%. So for example, I don't what's a good example? Okay, Tyson Chicken, Tyson Foods. I was really big into that particular company also, where I would buy like a block of, let's say, 10 or 100,000 of their bonds. In the recession, you could buy them for like $60,000 for a $100,000 bond. $40,000 off. The coupon rate would be 7% interest per year. But since I paid almost half price, my yield to maturity was actually like 13.5% of an actual interest rate yield per year. And of course, it matured in like 8 or 9 years. So what happened was, a lot of those great opportunities of me making double digits, the company survived, the interest rates went to 0, so they were able to issue new bonds at like 3-4% instead of 7-8%. So they called and paid all the bondholders off early, gave me the cash up front. Yes, remember, I paid $60,000, I got back $100,000. So I had a huge immediate capital gain. Thankfully, I held it over 1 year, so it was a long-term capital gain, but it was still a capital gain in addition to the interest payment. Therefore, when I had that chunk of extra money, and that's just one example, I couldn't go back to the bond market at the time because of the economic conditions with the low rates. That is what fueled me starting to transfer the money from the bond market into reserve list Magic the Gathering. I started to accelerate the buying of alpha beta cards, sealed booster boxes of Mirage, Revise, all this old stuff. Mirage boxes were $150. Revise booster boxes were between $600 and $800, stuff like that. So that is what started that transition. As time went on, I continued to do that type of business model because I was able to, as the interest payments came in, I was able to take those interest payments and instead of reinvesting into additional bonds, I started buying Magic cards. So what happened was I continued that type of approach, and I continued to funnel money into the reserve list cards to this day. A lot of the money does come from, let's say YouTube commercials that you guys see. A lot of the money comes from Wall Street money. A big chunk of the money, I would say 50% of this absorption of reserve list cards that I'm using is Wall Street money. It is coming from bonds being paid by large corporations, such as, Limited Brand by Victoria's Secret, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, different banks. I don't know. A little bit of Sallie Mae. I've been stepping away from Sallie Mae. That's a whole other video. I'm not confident in the student loan environment, even though Sallie Mae is government backed supposedly and has a high credit rating, but I do still own a little bit. I've been backing off on that. There's about 20 different ones. For example, some casino ones, some, I used to be involved with Altria, Philip Morris type thing because they paid a lot of money, even though I can't stand what they do. It's strictly capitalism. So a lot of this came from that, and that money goes from that industry into the Magic card industry. So that is how it's financially supported, and it's really bought. Some of it comes from Patreon, but not really. I have a very strong Patreon account and a lot of loyal patrons. But you have to remember, a lot of those patrons do buy product from me, and I don't make money selling people, booster boxes of Dominaria or Core 19 for $79 shipped, especially after PayPal fees and shipping, and they just adjusted the prices higher. There's no money in that. And that's why I tell people, if you're going to open a store, again, there's no money in that. If somebody just buys one box and it costs $5 to ship the box, and then I buy actual my own cardboard for 50 cents a piece, and the PayPal costs me $7, and if I pay $79 a booster box plus $7, I'm paying $86 and I'm selling for $80. Do the math. And that's just one example. So anyways, moving on. That's where the capital comes from, everybody. Rudy, what do you think of Wizards of the Coast actively injecting politics into the damn trading card game? Wizards of the Coast censorship of Magic's beautiful and iconic artwork because of some different styled haired people, or they say blue haired people. I don't know if everybody has blue hair. I don't know if that's true. And people get offended and find artwork too sensitive, violent, sexual, blah, blah, blah. How about Wizards of the Coast actively attacking their customers who don't happen to share their values and deliberately punishing and committing to wrongthink, banning stores, doing all this kind of policing on social media? Why did they do that? Don't you think it hurts the business? It divides communities. It's not even a debate. It's just bad business. What is your opinion? Okay. Every time I do Q&As or anything, people ask about the social justice thing, ask about the community and the division. So this particular question is probably about 100 questions out of my probably 1,100 I got. So let's just go ahead and just say right up front. Yes, it's bad business. No, I don't think it's smart. No, I don't think they should be doing that. They should be focusing on the card game. The issue here is not what their values are. The issue is they're trying to push them on other people. Some people are cool with it and agree with it. Other people don't. Some people like me, I just don't really give two shit. I'm trying to run a business. It just doesn't, I don't understand why I'm trying to run a business and that comes up a lot. It's stupid because we should be focusing on the business and the health of the game. Now, in Wizards' eyes, because of the fact that they believe and they're very firm on the very specific thought patterns and values, it does affect a lot of the customer base. Overall, it's not healthy for any business, whether we're talking about Wizards or anyone, to get involved in this type of conversation because you're going to make a certain degree of your customer base angry and you're going to get less sales. While a certain other part of the customer base will be happy with that, and whether they buy or they're still buying or not, they're still probably going to buy the product. So there's really no financial benefit, but you're incurring a higher level of risk. And this gets me back to like investing in bonds and Wall Street. Because why should I incur a higher level of risk for no additional reward or no possibility to sell more product? That's where I have an issue with it, because it's just not good business. So in my opinion on it, no, I don't think Wizards or any video game company, any comic book company, any movie company, I don't think they should remake movies and do this stuff. I think they should focus on the actual card game. Make good mechanics. Be creative. I don't think the artwork, I'm biased to the old artwork because it was not more so the characters, but it's how it's drawn. It has like a rawer, rougher hand-drawn feel versus a CGI type of feel. I focus more on that category, more so like the color of the hair thing and all that doesn't really bother me as much. More so on just, I like the old feel versus the CGI style. That's my personal thing. But no, I don't think a trading card company should be policing social media. I don't use social media. I used to use Twitter. Now I have just kind of an automatic Twitter account that posts my videos. Apparently my Twitter account, last I checked, has 12,000 followers. I think from 11,000. It's probably higher because I haven't checked it now in 2 months. But the thing is, there's no benefit for me to use Twitter. I used to use Twitter I used to check it almost daily at the end of each day. The problem was, everybody I used to follow, even the Jeremy and Unsullied Media, all the way to Talarian, I used to follow a lot of people. The problem was, I was blocked from hundreds and hundreds of accounts. Like when I would try to follow a lot of the approved Magic channels, I couldn't even see what was going on because all the replies, everything just said tweet unavailable. And that was my first open exposure to trying to keep an eye on what's going on, but I was blocked from hundreds of people. I didn't know who they were. So I realized social media was definitely not the platform for me. To put my time, and we get one shot in this world, to spend it on a platform where everybody just is very aggressive, and I don't like it. And then when I go on it, and I can't do anything because I'm already blocked by all these people I don't know, I walked away. It's not for me. You guys can have it. Whoever's out there and has me blocked for God knows how many hundreds of people, it's silly. Life's too short to spend it scrolling through things like that. Life is a very sensitive, delicate flower, and we all have one thing in common. We're all going to die one day, and time is more valuable than any asset. They talk about that in finance, time value of money, everything, because time is the only thing we cannot get back. The reason why people get very polarized with money is because we all have to work and do jobs we don't want to do to get pay that we feel is underdeserved, to buy shit that we really don't need but that end up giving us positive or negative reactions. So therefore, time being limited makes the amount of money we can all earn very limited, which makes all of us very polarized. So based on that premises alone, it's going to have a very sensitive thing, which is why money and capitalism is sensitive, because of that exchange rate with time. And I value time very, very high. I value loyalty, my word, verbal things, which is why, when I talk to everybody about this stuff, when I tell you these things and people think everything's just fake, that's your opinion. I know what I'm talking about, and some of it, is speculation, and I tell you, if I don't have evidence of something, I'm going to tell you I don't have evidence, but I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. That's it with the community thing. So that's it, really. I don't agree with it all. I think it's a dangerous game. There's some more questions similar to that we'll get to. Rudy, do you smoke pot, marijuana, or any other drugs? No, I don't. Rudy, do you believe in God? Yeah, I believe in God. Rudy, do you have kids? Yes, I have one amazing tiny little 3-year-old dude, a little mini me. I don't smoke or really drink or do or gamble or any of that stuff, and it's not really because I disagree with it. I have no problem with people who do. My problem is I have a very extreme addictive personality. I've talked to you guys about this before, and you guys probably aren't surprised. Look what I do with Magic Reserve List. Even if I have 150 archaeologists, I want another 150. Even if I already have 40, 50 pieces of power, I want more. So understanding that type of personality trait, I understand there's certain things like gambling, casinos, scratch-offs, lottery, smoking, drinking. I understand I have to be very, very careful with these type of things. I have to understand, even going out or dating or, I've never used, even when I was single and younger, I never used a dating app or do anything or a Tinder or anything like that because I was very nervous of abusing it or taking it too far and just like being out of control and going out and partying and just, abusing myself by drinking too much and doing it. I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable, makes me nervous because I feel like I could lose control of myself and lifestyle. So because of that, I don't smoke or do anything. There you go. And come on, it's a waste of money, everybody. All right, Rudy, comment. You need to comment at least once. I'm sure you won't do this anyways because it's a sensitive thing. Rudy, Jeremy Hambley, Unsleeved Media, The Quartering, being attacked by a violent sociopath at Gen Con. Opinion. Okay, it's simple. I don't know who the guy was. It was some guy who owns a game store in California. I watched the videos. I watched Jeremy's video. I think it's terrible. I think it's, and I think it's what's even worse about it is it clearly happened. There's police reports of it. There's witnesses of it. I think it's a terrible thing. Whether or not Jeremy knew the guy ahead of time or can exchange words online, I don't know. Some people said yes, some people said no. But no matter what happened, you don't go out and ask, "Hey, are you so and so?" and you attack them. I think that's absolutely ludicrous. And the fact that even Wizards, it makes Wizards look even worse, in my opinion, because it shows that they're not playing fairly by the rules with everybody in the board game. Because when certain things like this happen to people they don't like, they kind of just accidentally look the other way. Where if somebody else did something similar that Wizards isn't happy with, they would come down with an iron fist. So my issue is, yes, I think it's absolutely ludicrously absurd that anybody would exchange in a physical violence and attack because they don't like somebody else. Whether you like the Professor, you like the Mana Source, you like Desolator Magic, you like MTG Purple, you like all the little YouTube channels across the board, all the way to the brand new ones, to the top, to the approved channels, to Wizards themselves. I don't think it doesn't matter how you feel about them. You shouldn't attack people. That doesn't do anything. It literally didn't do anything. All it does is just cause a big scene and make people get upset. I mean, there's no benefit to it. So, Rudy, I don't play Magic. I'm not into YouTube much. Why do I like your channel? I don't know. Good content is good content. My question is this. I collected sports cards my entire childhood. Okay. Probably why I'm interested and fascinated by the Magic world. Of course, we all got hosed in the sports card world. Obviously, Magic the Gathering is more stable due to the secondary market and the following. There seems to be more transparency in the old print runs and the investors. Do you ever fear a collapse similar to the sports card world a long time ago? No, I don't. Because the sports card world collapsed for many different reasons, between the players' abuse and steroids and problems, and more importantly, the massive overprinting that occurred during the 90s of the sports card thing. All these different companies started printing pictures of the same baseball card player, and they've been print runs of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of cards. There was no rarity. There was nothing special. It became literally just there's 8 million different versions of some particular baseball card player. There was 10,000 versions of a rookie card. There was nothing valuable or unique that made people want to collect or hoard the cards. Magic is nowhere near that. It's an actual card game. In my opinion, probably the best card game ever created in mankind to this date. I don't see anything close that has the feel of the way Magic is created and the mechanics that were created by the infamous Richard Garfield, who was, the PhD dude himself. It's a very special card game, which is now historical value and very unique. I do not think there will be kind of a collapse or an overlay to mimicking the past. I just don't see that happening. Do I think we could have a setback, a reset, a bear market, or a flat, or a retrace downwards in Magic? Absolutely, without a doubt, yes. Magic could easily experience a 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50% decline in these reserve list prices at any given time. Do I think it'll really happen? No, I don't. Would I be surprised if it happened? No, I wouldn't. If it did happen, there's going to be people out there that are going to that'll be a changing moment in Magic history if we have a crash in old 93, 94 Magic. Because I know particularly a handful of people that would take over the entire market. If I could buy unlimited Black Lotuses for literally $1,000, $2,000 or less, I would probably try to buy the entire market out. I would try to buy at least hundreds of them. And, even with Alpha, if a beta Black Lotus now, I could get for $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 instead of $10,000, $20,000, or a Gem Mint one for $30,000 plus, I would buy as many as I could. Alpha is just a stupid thing. If there's estimated 500-600 Alpha Lotuses left in the world, and the price dropped to a couple grand a piece, if I bought 100 of them, I could own 10, 20, 30. It's just simple supply and demand is my rationale on that. Rudy, do you think the Federal Reserve, oh God, I can't talk. Do you think the Fed did a good job in 2008 handling the crisis in the economy? I do, but I don't. I like some of the things they did. I don't agree with most of the things they did. That's the best way to say it without wasting too much time. Rudy, do you ever worry about getting robbed or getting, mugged or, held up at gunpoint? Yes, all the time. which is why myself, family, everybody, we're all armed. We carry minimum of 1 gun per person. We are very armed people. All the locations, personal house, office, stores, restaurant, everything's very armed. The cameras, metal gates, a lot of security. I mean, there's no bulletproof way, literally, to protect yourself, but you can reduce the odds and you can try to remove yourself from scenarios of higher risk. I'm a big fan of that. So there you go. Rudy, great job. Congratulations on making a channel that is actually different in Magic. My question is about your strategy on sealed boxes. For months, you list booster boxes on eBay, but as the market increases in value, you raise your prices at a higher rate to make sure your prices on eBay on old booster boxes never catch up to the actual market price. You moved $2,000 Urza boxes to $5,000, then to $10,000, and then $20,000. Same thing with Revised. Clearly, you don't want the boxes to be sold. What gives? What is your actual end game? I do not understand. The end game is simple. You're overlooking it. You're forgetting the basic principle of internet, social media, e-commerce. It's all about eyes and attention. Whereas some other YouTube channels like Gary Vee and a lot of these motivational people and a lot of these business people talk about, I'm trying to trade and handle attention. I'm trying to buy and sell views and make, a name for myself on the internet. By doing that, I drive a lot of attention and I get a lot of extra comments on every video whenever I do things like misspell something in the title, maybe say something wrong in the video, maybe raise the price or put PSA 10 cards on eBay when I said I would never sell PSA 10 cards. This adds interactions, impressions, comments to the YouTube videos, which helps promote the algorithm, which helps the channel grow. It's the same thing with Reddit. Reddit is the best thing to ever happen to Alpha Investments because without them, I actually don't think I ever would have even gotten off the ground. They are the sole reason on when I posted the Cons of Tarkir video, the very first video that made this channel go from nothing to something, they bombarded that video with comments and attacks from Reddit because of the video and the way it was engineered. So again, that's why I have a very special relationship with Reddit. They are pretty much over 50% of the sole reason the channel even made it. So, same thing with eBay. It drives a substantial amount of traffic and helps me move low-end product, single cards of all the new stuff, and generates, on average, between 3,000 and 5,000 transactions per month on eBay for me, between $1 and $10 a piece, generating substantial amounts of profit for me. So because of that, I do not want those items to sell. I don't want to sell them. I have no intentions to sell them, but it is helping me grow. Rudy, what do you do if the magic market suddenly collapses? I'd buy more fucking shit. I already told everybody. Rudy, you still believe the signed Black Lotus you sold was actually authentic? Why is Reddit so obsessed about this? I knew I was going to get at least one person. Why is Reddit so obsessed about this infamous one magic card Black Lotus you sold that had a signed signature Christopher Rush logo? Why do you think that the John Doe / Black Lotus Reddit account / Mike Bronstein guy became so obsessed with you? I think it's a combination of things. The guy is actually a very nice, good person. He was actually he was my original $100 patron, the very first one at the beginning. Actually very good, and I still don't think he's a bad person, even though he's attacked me to no end. He can attack me and hate on me and treat me poorly as much as he wants. I actually still don't think he's a bad person. You have to understand, that gentleman writes a blog online and does motivational type things and helps people with like multi-level marketing scams. I used to read a lot of his content before I got real busy, and he actually wrote pretty good articles. And he focuses on things of like helping people and trying to find scams, and that's kind of his angle and his culture, his lifestyle. That's what he kind of does for a living. So the first part, there's like 3 questions here. So the first one, do you still believe the Black Lotus is authentic? 100% yes. I stand by the card till the very beginning. Even the gentleman I sold the card to, if any time he didn't actually want it, I will keep the card. I will take it back and give him a refund. I absolutely stand by it 100%. Never going to change my opinion. Second part of the question. Rudy, why is Reddit so obsessed with you about this one card? I actually don't think they are. It goes back to, like I was telling everybody earlier, me and Reddit have a very special relationship. Reddit feeds on controversy, titles, clickbait, trolls, and whenever the name Rudy or anything comes up, people get banned and censored. So Reddit feeds on the anti-Rudy thing. And the funny thing about it is, the Reddit thing's complicated. I should do that for a different video, but Reddit, I don't think Reddit's obsessed with it. I think it's more of a push by Mike Bronstein to do this type of thing. I think this was his goal to try to just spread it as much as he could. I think the part he didn't really calculate is that by him doing that, it, again, just like many other attacks before him, and many other attacks that are going to come after him. Like I said, the most recent attack post the Black Lotus attack would probably be the when we at Vegas, the Vintage Magic crew hired a professional photographer to actually print out Polaroids live and actually sell pictures and let people use the props and to actually sell the actual printed out photo paper stuff. And then everybody started to attack me for that because I was just in the picture and didn't even make any money on it. So, but after that, there'll be another one too. Something else will come along and the next wave of attacks will occur. It won't be the first and it won't be the last. So I don't think Reddit is really obsessed with a particular Black Lotus card thing. I don't think 99% of people give a shit because I really don't. I kind of find it humorous at this point because the fact it put me on the front page of Reddit again for a very long period of time and introduced hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of additional people to my channel. I can always tell because there's a direct correlation between when the YouTube channel has spikes in growth and whenever something to do with me ends up on the front page of Reddit, or when a bunch of high-end professional people that are approved with Wizards or other stores or Reddit mods or the moderators put something on the front page. Remember, Reddit will only allow an alpha investment topic to be on Reddit if it's something negative, attacking or slandering me. If there's anything positive about my video, it's not allowed to be placed on Reddit. So you have to understand that particular direction of how the system works. So as far as the gentleman with the, I guess whatever his Black Lotus dude or guy, or he apparently has all these names on there where I guess apparently there's like a list of them on another thread. So what happened was, like I said, when this gentleman was contacting me about buying, he didn't like my answer. Then after the people on the internet pretty much didn't like what I said and I stood by the card, it put him on this like rampage type of like white knight scenario. And unfortunately, that's really all there became to it. The card got sold, everything's fine. Even the people who bought it think it's real, and there's other examples of it that were very similar, and that's really it. There's nothing else to really talk about. I think every once in a while it'll still pop up, and people will still attack me and say Rudy sells fake things, and yeah, that's fine. You guys are free to have your opinion, but that's it. I stand by the card. Rudy, how often do you run into Hulk Hogan in Florida? Does Hulk Hogan live in Florida? I don't understand that question. All right, that's one page. Rudy, I have two questions for you. What do you think of trans people in general? And if I ever make it to visit Florida, will you play EDH with me since I am trans? I don't really play EDH, but I'd be willing to give it a shot. I don't see why not. I don't really have any issue with trans people. I used to work with actually about two trans people when I worked with the brokerage firm. I don't want to give the name of the company, of course, for fear of lawsuit. But I used to work when I used to work with the brokerage firm. We actually had a couple trans people that were actually brokers, and there were a couple other trans people that were in the 401k or the paperwork auditing compliance department. Never really had any issues with them. Used to hang out with them a lot. They were part of our group of like 10 of us. We used to go out and dinners, and we used to go out to lunches. We never really had any issue. Actually, I thought they were pretty funny people. Honestly, I think their topics of interest and their intelligence level was actually a little smarter sometimes because the other guys were talking about stupid shit like sports. I'm not really a big sports guy, sorry. So there you go. If you came to Florida, I don't really have time to play Magic much anymore in general. I don't even play with my own family Magic anymore. Rudy, do you insure your Magic collection? My version of insurance is not through a company. My version is splitting up in multiple locations, gigantic safes, safety deposit box, different locations, store, and kind of using different methods of storage versus insuring it through a company. That's my version of insurance. Rudy, what's the deal with Reddit? Okay, we just talked about this. Why do people get banned talking about you or your videos or your name when it's anything positive, but the negative, Rudy, is allowed to stay on Reddit? Again, we already talked about it. It's strictly because, again, just like Magic, the social media on Twitter, the Tumblrs, the community and the people in the approved bubble and the category do not like me because I'm not controllable, and they don't like what I stand for with capitalism and money. And it comes down to the haves versus have-nots. It creates and especially with the money involved, you're going to have a lot of different categories of things. And again, Reddit is the reason I got off the ground, so I can't really hate on Reddit, everybody. Rudy, Wizards of the Coast keeps seeming to be going downhill recently. I think it's kind of flat. I don't think it's up or down. Would they be desperate enough to reprint the reserve list one day? So again, this question represents another 50 questions. I'm going to stand by it. No, the reserve list is never going to be reprinted. That's really all there is to it. There's going to be some other variants of this question coming up, but no, I don't think they're going to reprint the reserve lists, period, just in general. Rudy, what do you think of the YouTuber, the young lady known as Vera Dark? I think she put this her question herself. I think I saw the picture next to her. A loyal member of your 1% community of women. Rudy, what do you think of her? I like her. What I really like about Vera is when I watch her videos, every once in a while I'll drop into different people's live streams. I usually don't comment very much because every once in a while I'll make a comment on people's live streams and then the comment section lights up with just Rudy, Rudy, Rudy. And it kind of messes up the person's individual live stream. I don't really like interfering with their live stream. I kind of feel like it takes over their live stream. And I kind of feel like it's a selfish move to say anything. Like, I like to say hi. I drop into a lot of live streams, especially at night. Probably about 10 different people who live stream. And I like to listen to what we sort and do cards and orders and we fill envelopes. But like I said, I don't want to comment very often because it messes up the people's live stream. So I don't do that. But I really like, the thing I like about Vera is she speaks her mind. She makes videos that are positive and negative, similar to what I do, about the wizards, the culture. And the young lady, the woman has a true, she likes what she does. She likes the cards. She's a good-looking woman. She has her head on straight. She's smart, and she has a personality. And that's tough to find when you have an attractive woman, but also somebody who's smart and can hold a conversation. The physical appearance is cool and all, and that's, especially on YouTube, it's going to help. But the issue is, you know, at least in my experience in life, it's when there's a lot of guys and male and female who are good-looking and attractive, very polished individuals, but they just, you know, they can't hold a conversation. They're dumb as shit. And that's what really pisses me off. I really respect what she's doing, and I think she has the ability, if she stays with it, to continue to make YouTube videos. She can grow the channel. And the tough part about, I think, a lot of YouTubers is as you make videos, as time goes on, the newness fades. And it converts to more of a chore of, okay, I gotta have a video. I don't have anything in queue. And the creativity, even for myself, will tend to take a back seat to just trying to pump out a video or just I'll crack a pack and do it, keep something going live on the channel because you want to keep that algorithm on your side. I do think Vera, just the same way I always felt that, what's her name? The girlfriend to Alec Bracini's wife, girlfriend, fiance, what's her name? Red-haired, vintage. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. She's going to kill me for this. Rachel Agnes. Oh my gosh, I feel like an idiot. I can't even edit this video. I always felt Rachel Agnes had the ability to be one of the most successful female YouTubers also. I even gotten arguments with her in the past about it because she wouldn't do it. Mostly because she's just, she won't take the risk, the plunge, and how people are going to give her a hard time in the comment section. She wouldn't do it. And I always felt she had the ability to take the magic world by storm from the female perspective. I think Vera has the same thing going for her. There's not very many women in the magic community that I feel can have that good aura on camera that can really push forward, and I think she's got it. So good luck, Vera. More power to you, young lady. What is the exact amount of money you've made off the YouTube channel alone, specifically? Why are we not talking about how much it seems like Wizards is moving towards a paperless digital game? They have bad quality controls, they hate the LGSs clearly, and they want to push their online game. Okay, so that's two questions. First, Rudy, what's the exact amount of money you've made off your YouTube channel that you're not supposed to talk about? YouTube channel on a bad month makes $4,000 a month. On a good month is actually record is going to be probably hitting $20,000 a month. The YouTube channel is extremely profitable. It makes far more money than I ever thought it would ever make, and I think it's absolutely absurd how much money you can make on